Sure. Just a second. Oh. All right. So just I guess to get us started, I was hearing on the broadcast a couple games ago, I think it was the UAB series, they were talking about the relationship that you have with Coach Lawson at Kentucky. So I was just wondering if you could talk about that and maybe where it started and all that.
Well, I love Coach Lawson at Kentucky. I won't Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. No, I'm just kidding. She always gives me a hard time because how competitive I am. We're wired a little differently in that way. But I think that she does an incredible job. How our relationship started was, quite honestly, she's the reason I got some of the calls I got early in my coaching career. She used to coach at Maryland back in the day. And when I was an assistant at Maryland, we played in the FAU tournament in Florida, both years that I was an assistant at Maryland, and we played Kentucky both years. And our pitching staff improved quite a bit from year one to year two. And so when University of Louisville was looking for a pitching coach, my former boss, Sandy Pearsall, who was at Louisville, called some of her friends and colleagues of, people they would recommend. And Rachel put my name out there. She goes, I don't know this person from the next person, but we played Maryland, and, what she did with their pitching staff from year one to two was, whatever, and kind of just put her name on me, even though she didn't know me. And I got a call from Sandy and ended up getting the job at Louisville. And then through the Louisville kind of Kentucky rivalry or whatever, I got to know Rachel more and her staff. And I think it's just kind of blossomed from there. And then being in the SEC, it's obviously working closely with a lot of the other coaches and my counterparts in the conference. I have a ton of respect for Rachel because she's what's right in the sport. She is committed to doing what is right, not what is right for her. And I think there's a lot to be said for that. She just has a ton of integrity, and I think does a tremendous job with her team. So I can keep talking on and on and on. But she's also very honest. And I find that to be also really refreshing. So she doesn't beat around the bush. She'll just kind of say what she thinks, like it or not. And I like that. So she's great. And so
what does that do in the sport, just to kind of have these friendships, even, like y'all are in the same conference and compete against each other? What is, I guess, the benefit all season round of having kind of those close friends that coach at other schools?
Well, I think it's huge, because we find our circles that we trust and we respect and we can kind of lean on in certain things. And so when you have those people that you're in a tough time and you can call and that they're going to be there for you as a friend, not as a competitor, they can help you through those times or give you perspective that you don't necessarily have, or they've been there and they've done that. And so it's been huge. She's helped me out a ton. She helped me a ton when we had our tough stretch in that week and a half, around that Wichita State game. And so for her to set the time to help a friend, even though we're competitors, I think it just speaks a ton to her character. And I just think really highly of her.
And then, of course, she's got a pretty good team this year, ranked a lot of people top 20. We just talk about what you see from her team.
Well, she always has a really good team. They do a really great job of recruiting and developing. And so I think this year is no different. I think we're kind of curious if we'll see Schoonover. But in Schoonover's absence, I think they've had their pitching staff step up and they pitched a little bit more by committee without having Schoonover. So we're going to see a lot of different looks and we're going to have to make really quick adjustments. And then on our defensive pitching side, they have an offense that puts a lot of pressure on defenses. They put the ball in play. You have two of the best players in the country in Koffel and Koffel. And so you look to almost like we did going into the Georgia series. You look to limit their offense. You know, they're gonna get theirs. We need to limit it. They run a little bit more. They create a little bit more havoc on the offensive side than Georgia, who just slugs it for the most part. But it's the same kind of approach going in, is like, we really need to limit it and we need to make quick adjustments on our offensive side.
Great.
Dudley?
You had a chance to step away from SEC play a little bit. I think, got some others, some playing time. Just how do you feel about, the development as you go, here through the season?
Well, I think we're continue to get better, which I really like. I think we continue to learn a lot. We continue to find ways to get the job done. It looks a little differently every time, sometimes aggravating, sometimes not. But we're still learning and we're still growing. And that's what we need from this team, is we knew at the beginning that this team had growing up to do. And so I think that I'm really, really pleased with the progress that this team has made. I'm really pleased with the resilience they've shown through tough times, the response that they've shown from tough times. And I think the thing that we still need to continue to be really good at is just refocusing in the moment, and not getting caught up in what's happened or what's yet to happen, but just really focusing on the moment. And I think that's where you see the maturity growing.
Being a big St. Louis Cardinal fan, I've always enjoyed the top of their lineups with Lou Brock, Vince Coleman, and all that. Yours creates chaos. Just talk about those two being back to back there and just what they give you. Yeah,
I mean, our Reagans at the top have done a really great job for us. I mean, obviously Reagan Johnson can fly. I think what she's done better lately and continues to get better at is controlling her zone, and putting the ball in play and forcing them to make plays. But when she gets on, it's, obviously she can change the game with her legs. And then Reagan Kramer just very rarely has a bad at bat. She makes the pitcher earn. If they get her out, she makes the pitcher work for it. She makes them earn it. She knows exactly who she is as a hitter. She reminds me a lot of Hannah McEwen, of just really controlling her zone and being ready when the ball shows up where she wants it. And so, they've done a tremendous job for us at the top of the order.
Ethan?
Yeah, if last question I'll ask is if you could just talk a little bit about what makes Erin Koffel she's a pretty unique player, it feels like, where she can beat you in a lot of different ways. Just what do you see from her?
What do you see from her, Ethan? What do we know? I'm just kidding. Well, honestly, when we played last year, we literally made her the national player of the week. Not we made her. She became the national player of the week after facing us. She is such a complete hitter and just an elite competitor. She can hit any pitch. You can't get her off time very well. You're just hoping that she mishits it. And she also carries the weight of being the targeted, offensive player in their lineup really well. She carries that really well and doesn't get outside herself very much. So she's going to be a really tough challenge, as is, their whole lineup, but they have Kowalik right there too. And Kowalik's a really tough out. She has speed also and has the ability to drive the ball out. She can lay a bunt down. She can, just has such good hand-eye. And so it's going to be a good challenge. They're both, two of the best in the country. They're incredible.
Dudley?
I'm writing a feature on Casey Wood and also just a recruiting update. Just talk about what kind of player Casey is, and also that class is another great one for you.
Well, we're excited about that class. It's a smaller class for us, but we feel like we add a ton with those four. It's been fun following their success through social media of hitting for the cycle and home runs off of other commits. And, all four are incredibly talented and really competitive. And so I'm excited that, they're Razorbacks. I'm excited to get them here.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Any last questions for Coach Deifel? All right, thank you, Coach.